It's time for sports news on the news at 10. Kaide Alayode will take us through.
Thank you very much, Gimba. Welcome to Sports News. Confederation of African Football, CAF, has shifted the Confederation Cup clash between Rwanda's Rayon Sports and Rivers United by 1 week. This is to allow for the 23rd commemoration of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, which began today and is expected to end on April the 13th. The Rwanda Football Federation said the regional stadium in Kigali, which was meant to host the game, will be used for the commemoration. The game will now be played on Sunday, April the 15th, at the same venue. And in Tunisia, the Football Federation has announced the sacking of Henrik Kasperzak from his position as its national team coach. This comes less than 2 weeks after the Carthage Eagles lost 2 international friendlies against Morocco and Cameroon last month. The 70-year-old, who led Tunisia to the final of the 1996 Africa Cup of Nations, returned for a second spell in charge in 2015. The Tunisian Football Federation said a new coach will be appointed by the end of the month. In club football, Chelsea have extended their lead at the top of the Premier League table to 7 points after an emphatic 3-1 win over Bournemouth. Tottenham kept up the pressure on Chelsea with an impressive home victory over Watford. Manchester City ended a 4-game winless run with a comfortable 3-1 victory over Hull City that boosted their hopes of finishing in a Champions League spot. Liverpool came from behind to beat Stoke City and stay on course for a top 4 finish thanks to goals by substitutes Philippe Coutinho and Roberto Firmino. West Ham ended a 5-game losing run as they gained a much-needed win over struggling Swansea City. France edged a tight doubles encounter against Great Britain to seal a place in the Davis Cup semi-finals for the 5th time in 8 years. Nicolas Mahut and Julien Benneteau defeated Britain's Jamie Murray and Dominic Inglot's 7-6, 5-7, 7-5 and 7-5 victory to give Yannick Noah's team an unassailable 3-0 lead ahead of Sunday's reverse singles rubbers. France can now look forward to another home tie in September's semi-finals. Meanwhile, Serbia booked a semi-final clash with France after Nenad Zimonjic and Viktor Troicki outclassed Marc Lopez and Pablo Carreno in a 5-set double thriller to give them an emphatic 3-0 lead over Spain. Zimonjic and Troicki prevailed 4-6, 7-6, 6-love, 4-6 and 6-2 in front of a noisy home crowd as Serbia's talismanic team leader Novak Djokovic watched from the sidelines. The Serbians will host France in an emotional rematch of the 2010 final when they won their maiden title with a 3-2 home victory. And on that victorious note, it's a wrap on Sports News. Gimba Umar is back in just a moment. Stay with us.
Russian news agency TASS says that Russian Defense Ministry has suspended the operation of a communication hotline with the Pentagon a day after the President Donald Trump ordered an airstrike on the airbase of the Syrian Air Force in Shirat. Russia and the US established the link in 2015 as part of measures to prevent and ensuring flight safety in Syrian airspace. Well, the decision was taken after the U.S. military attaché in Moscow was summoned to the Defense Ministry to get Russia's officials' note on the matter. Russia's Defense Ministry's official spokesman, Major General Igor Konashenkov, made this known to reporters, refuting U.S. media reports claiming Russia had decided to keep the hotline open. The U.S. is accusing Russia of complicity in the chemical attack by Syrian government forces in the Idlib province. The Swedish police have discovered a suspect device inside the hijacked lorry rammed into a department store in central Stockholm. On Friday, it claimed 4 lives and left over a dozen injured. National Police Commissioner Dan Ellison says that it is too early to tell what the technical device found in the driver's seat is, but confirmed the suspect in custody is from Uzbekistan and was also well known to security services.
Sweden has generally low crime rates and has been ranked as one of the safest countries in the world. But Friday's incident altered that. A brewery truck ploughed into a crowd at a shopping street in Stockholm and crashed into a department store, killing 3 people and wounding more than 10. Part of central Stockholm was cordoned off and the area evacuated, including the main train station. According to reports, the truck had been stolen while making delivery to a restaurant. A 39-year-old man from Uzbekistan has been arrested, and according to the head of Sweden's national police, investigation is in top gear.
We do not know whether there are further persons involved in this act or not. But we are not excluding that. We are still working on a very comprehensive approach to see whether there is any possibility that further individuals are involved.
We know that the aim of this type of attack is to spread fear and hatred in society and make us feel afraid. But I see, just like you here, that during these last days, Sweden has shown its best side to help each other.
A book of condolences was opened at Stockholm City Hall on Saturday. People queued patiently in the early afternoon outside the iconic building to pay tribute to those who lost their lives in the unfortunate incident. From Paris's Eiffel Tower that went dark for 5 minutes on Friday to flags flown at half-mast, a minute silence is expected to be observed all over Sweden midday on Monday. Attacks of this nature are not new to Europe. On July 14, 2016, a man drove a lorry for 2 kilometers through a large crowd in Nice, France, killing 86 people and injuring more than 300. Although security has been heightened at the country's borders, one thing is sure: Sweden will be safe again.
And the main news again. Participants at the Mo Ibrahim Governance Conference holding in Morocco today began a discussion on Africa's Leaders' Challenge, where they made a case for holding leaders in the continent accountable. Also today, the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, bowed to pressure, announced an extension of the deadline for the UTME registration and postponed the examination to May the 13th. And that's how it's been on the news at 10 tonight. I want to thank you so much indeed for being a part of it. On behalf of everyone here, have a splendid night, friends. Good night.